back to my channel. I hope you are all having a fantastic day. Today's video is one that I cannot believe it's already time to film, and that is my third trimester recap. It's crazy to me that I am already to the point in my pregnancy to be filming this video. I am 37 weeks and 2 days today, so baby girl could come within the next 3 weeks, 4 weeks. You never know, she could come tomorrow for all we know at this point. I am just absolutely shocked that time has flown by so quickly to the point that I'm filming this video to share with you all. It's just absolutely mind-blowing at this point. I have my phone with me as usual because if I don't, I won't remember half of what I am meaning to share with you all. And I have a lot to unpack in this video, especially since, as far as I know, this could be one of 3 more videos I get out, or it could be my very last video before I have my labor and delivery video and baby girl is here. So, with that being said, I'm going to jump right in. It is Father's Day when I am filming this, so I only have a limited amount of time to get this filmed before we have to head over to my in-laws to celebrate Father's Day for my husband and my father-in-law. So I'm not going to waste any time and just jump straight in. So the first thing I am going to mention here is if you haven't seen my second trimester recap video and you're curious about the second trimester, I will link that video up here for you. I feel like it was a really good video and gave a lot of information. I actually got a viewer question from that video, and that was if I have had any TMI pregnancy symptoms. And I don't really feel like I've had anything that was TMI or super embarrassing, thankfully, in my pregnancy. I fully expected to have things because you hear about like hemorrhoids and constant gas and things like that, but I have not experienced any of those things in my pregnancy. Who knows what I'll experience postpartum, so I'll keep you updated with that. But at this point, the only kind of embarrassing symptoms I've had, I wouldn't even really consider them super embarrassing for me, is earlier on in my third trimester and I guess towards the end of my second trimester, I was burping a lot, which I guess is kind of like, you know, gas, just, you know, burping instead, but it's really lessened in the last probably month to where it's almost something I forget I even had as a symptom. If I hadn't have noted it down in my phone, I wouldn't have thought to mention it. That and chafing. I have big thighs, and when I get super hot and sweaty, no matter if I'm wearing leggings, a dress, shorts, doesn't matter what it is, my fat little legs will chafe, especially now that my stomach touches my legs pretty much. I will chafe in between like the fold of my legs and my stomach. And that grosses me out a little bit, but I found, you know, just washing with warm water with a washcloth every single day, which I mean, obviously I bathe daily anyways, but like just making sure to really pay extra attention to that area. And then I use Aquaphor there now, and it really hasn't been an issue for me. It was only an issue for maybe about a week before I figured out something that worked for me, and then it hasn't really been an issue for me except for maybe 1 day since then, and that was when Corey and I were doing a ton of work earlier this week outside, and I was just sweating really, really bad. So as soon as I came in, I hopped in the shower, soaped myself up, washed down with warm washcloths, and that took care of that, and I haven't had the issue since. So I guess that's my kind of embarrassing TMI. I'm sorry that I don't have anything else to offer for you. I just haven't had the experience with anything else really embarrassing in my pregnancy. It also probably doesn't help that I don't embarrass easily, so any of these other symptoms I mentioned might be super embarrassing for somebody else, and they just don't faze me. So with that being said, we're going to jump straight into those symptoms. The first symptom I have to mention is shortness of breath. That is something that I noticed at the very beginning of the third trimester. Mainly at that time, it was when I would go up and down my stairs. Started around 28 weeks and lasted until the end of 33 to the beginning of 34 weeks. Now, I only get like short of breath, like if I've been doing a lot of stuff and moving around too much. Then I'm kind of short of breath, but for the most part, I'm not as short of breath as I was, but like I said, that lasted from about 28 weeks until the end of 33, beginning of 34 weeks, and I'm at 37 weeks now, so I've had a few weeks kind of break from it. I do still loathe walking up and down my stairs, though. It's just miserable. I feel like Corey just needs to get behind me and just push me up the stairs because I'm not out of breath, but just give out by the time I walk up and down our stairs a couple of times. I'm done. The next thing is an obvious pregnancy symptom, and that is I pee constantly. You know, everyone says even like in the first and second trimester that that's a common pregnancy symptom. Even though I was drinking a ton of water, like I definitely noticed I was peeing more, but it wasn't like to the annoying point that it is now, to where if I drink even just a sip of something to drink before I get in bed, like an hour later, I have to get up and pee. And I'm getting up and peeing like probably 4 or 5 times during the night. I feel like once I fall asleep and get comfortable again, I have to get up and pee again. Now, if I can get a rare night where I can sleep from like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning until 5 or 6 and not get up and pee, that is absolute heaven. But it doesn't happen very often. The next thing is back aches. I haven't had a lot of back pain, which I think is definitely due to my chiropractor. I have not struggled with that here in the 3rd trimester, but I have had back aches. Just, you know, your typical like achy, can't get comfortable, dull ache in my back feeling, which I feel is par for the course when you're this big and this pregnant. I also noticed that kind of picked up when I gained a little more weight. I don't remember which appointment it was. I want to say it was maybe around 30 to 30, no, probably about 30 weeks that I went to my doctor's appointment and looked at the scale, and I had gained 8 pounds. Up until that point, I had only gained less than 20 pounds my entire pregnancy, and then I gained 8 pounds in like 2.5 weeks. So that was kind of shocking there. But since then, I gained 2 more pounds at my last appointment. I take that appointment before last. So at 33 weeks, I had gained 2 more pounds. And then at my 35-week appointment, I had actually lost a pound. So I feel like I'm kind of at that point in pregnancy where my weight gain is kind of tapered out. Or tapered off, I guess, to where I'm not going to gain anymore. I'm not going to be like losing a ton, but I'm also not going to be gaining, I don't feel like, a ton more weight. So with that being said, definitely back aches, and I think that it got to be something I noticed more about the time that I gained 8 pounds. So I think it definitely just has to do with how your body is positioned with more weight in the front than in the back, and it just, you know, you have that pregnant walk and your back like arches a certain way. I think it has to do with that, but I'm lucky that my chiropractor helps so much. I think I would have much more back, hip, neck, everything all over pain if I didn't go to the chiropractor. Luckily for me, even being pregnant in the summer, I don't have a lot of swelling. I can still wear my wedding ring and my engagement ring. A lot of women I know can't even wear them at this point. Now, have I noticed mine are a little bit tighter? Yes, but not anything to where they're uncomfortable. My feet haven't been swollen. They hurt, but not swollen. So that has definitely been something different for me than any of my friends or family members that have been pregnant, especially in the summertime. Now, Braxton Hicks. This is something that I was torn on if I was going to mention or not, because up until the last maybe week, couple days to a week, I wasn't sure if that's what I was having or not, or if it was just like random like aches and pains. But for me, Braxton Hicks are up in my upper abdomen, and you'll actually notice like my stomach will get hard, and then it'll look like baby girl is pushing out almost into a triangle on one side or the other. But for me, that is actually Braxton Hicks. That's something that I'm not feeling every single day. I started noticing this a couple times and wasn't sure what was going on at around 28 to 32 weeks, but it was just a few times that I noticed it. It really has started happening more since about 35 weeks and over the last week and a half especially. So yeah, that is something new for me. It's not anything like painful, maybe like a little like, oh, that's interesting. What are you doing? But nothing painful for me at this point. I am very fatigued. And I know I keep messing with my hair. It's in my face. I am very fatigued and tired all the time, which I feel like being 9 months pregnant, having 8 dogs, we have a litter of 3 puppies right now, plus the 2 cats. I have every right to be fatigued and tired. Really, that hit me around 35 weeks where I'm just miserable going to work. I can't sit and be comfortable. I just do not want to be there. I physically hurt and I'm tired and I'm moody. It's just not somewhere that I want to be. I've had this last week off of work. I go back to work tomorrow until baby girl decides to arrive, and I'm dreading it just mainly because of the fatigue. The next thing is rashes. So at 26 weeks, I developed awful rashes all over my legs from shaving, especially if I would shave and then wear a dress and go outside. And I think it was in the peak of pollen here in Georgia for us. And I think the pollen was getting on my legs and getting in the pores, and I was just becoming very, very itchy. My doctor actually called it something called pregnancy rhinitis, I believe how she pronounced it, because my eyes were super swollen and itchy. I had these horrible bumps and rashes on my legs. For me, it would mainly flare up after I would shave, but instead of going away a day or two later, it would last for almost a week and be like uncontrollably itchy. And so my doctor told me to take Benadryl. I took that every about 6 hours for maybe a week or two, on and off, not consistently every 6 hours every day. I wouldn't take it at night. I'd probably take it maybe 3 to 4 times a day, possibly on bad days, and then just like twice a day on days that it wasn't really bothering me and I wasn't going outside at all. And that did go away after those 2 weeks, thankfully. I have not had any more itchy eyes. I've had a few like bumps on my legs, but nothing like where it was rashes and itching and just awful and scaly and patchy. It was terrible. And I was using sensitive skin shaving cream, shaving with warm water, nothing unusual, just pregnancy and allergies all mixing together made for a fun, not so fun symptom. The next thing, and this is something I did not know anything about until I got pregnant, and that is lightning crotch. Let's be real. That stuff is annoying. While it's kind of painful and not painful, I don't really think it's the pain that gets me. It's more it catches me so off guard. And I don't have a lot of it now, not lightning crotch. I've got some more stuff going on that I'll share. But lightning crotch for me, I think I've got it noted on here. It started around 29 or 30 weeks. And it would just be a super like sharp, random pain I would get in my crotch. And it would last for like 30 seconds. Like I said, I say pain, and it wasn't really painful as much as it was shocking, because it was always something that I was not expecting, and it would happen at the most random times. I noticed I would just have to sit down and like put my feet up for like 10-15 minutes, and then like I could get back up and it'd be fine, and I might not feel it again for a couple hours. Sometimes it'd be back to back. It was never consistent, but that was something nobody warned me about. So ladies, if you are experiencing it, it is normal. But here is your warning for it if you are not, that it might be coming in the 3rd trimester, especially if you're like me in the early 3rd trimester. The next thing is rib pain. I have a very short torso. I am not even 5 foot tall, so there's not a ton of room for baby to move around in here. So she was up here under my ribs all the time. If I was not stretched out in bed, I was in extreme pain and very uncomfortable. And I know my husband is gonna laugh because I put such emphasis on uncomfortable. He loves that I do that. But anyways, baby girl would push up under my ribs, mainly on my right side. If she moved over to my left side, it was like a relief because it was a different pain for once. That was probably the worst pregnancy symptom I have had my entire pregnancy so far, because I couldn't breathe. It hurt so bad. I would just almost cry riding in a car to and from work because sitting up hurts so bad. Thankfully for me, this started around 28 weeks, but ended the end of 33, first to 34 weeks when baby girl dropped. And that was a drastic change that I appreciated. So she dropped, I want to say I was 33 weeks and 6 days, so pretty much 34 weeks. And when she dropped, like I said, it lessened my rib pain a lot. Now the flip side of that is less rib pain, except for when she occasionally will kick up there now. But then it's not the same because she's not staying right there. But the flip side is cervical pain. So she pushes down with her head because she's head down. She's actually been head down since 14 weeks, which is kind of unusual, but she's head down. She's really, really low. Like I said, she dropped around 34 weeks, and she is pressing her head on my cervix a lot to where I'll be walking and I just have to grab on and hold on to something. I'm like, okay. Like, that does not feel good. It's not like an unbearable pain or anything, but it's just like, dang, that's a sharp pain, and that doesn't feel very good at all. And I notice the more I walk, the more she's doing it, which, I mean, I guess is a good thing, because I've been told that can help, like, you know, soften your cervix so that you can be, like, effaced and, like, easier to dilate and everything. They haven't checked to see how dilated I am or if I even am yet. So I'm kind of curious if they do check that at my next appointment, if I will be dilated at all or any percent effaced, because she's pushing down on my cervix a lot. And that started happening after she dropped at 34 weeks. Now, the last symptom I've had is just being big and uncomfortable, just your typical 9 months pregnant woman. This started for me at around 8 months, to where I was just starting to get more uncomfortable, couldn't get as comfortable in bed at night, hurts to move around a little more, aches and pains here and there. Nothing that I would say is unusual. And I feel very lucky that it took until 8 months for me to get that way. And now when I look back and I'm like, okay, how I felt at 8 months with this versus how I feel now at 37 weeks, 8 months was nothing. Like 37 weeks, I fully feel like, okay, she's good, she's cooked, she's ready. Come on, baby girl. Like, I am ready to meet you and for you to not be inside my body anymore, because I don't know how much longer I can do it, but we'll do what we have to for her. Now we're going to move on to the things that I have done during my third trimester. The first thing is my glucose test. So I had that back at the very beginning of my third trimester. I actually posted a video of the test and how it works on my Instagram. So if you haven't followed me over there, you should head over there. It's RebeccaLynn_GA, and you can find that video in my reels there. And it was not bad. I was preparing myself for this super sugary, thick texture drink that people had told me about, and that I was going to throw up from it. Some people said orange was the best flavor. Others said orange was the worst. So when I got there and they handed me orange, I was nervous. I had 3 minutes to drink this drink, I believe it was. It was either 2 or 3 minutes, and they set a timer. I believe it was 3. It might have been 5, actually. Watch that video, and that will tell you for sure, because it's been a minute for me. But it was not bad at all. And the dogs are going to start barking. To continue, it was not bad at all. To me, it tastes like a watered down orange juice. Maybe it was just the kind I had, the brand or whatever. But I did do that test. I got my results a couple days later, and I did test negative for gestational diabetes. Hallelujah. That was one of my curves that I needed to get around done. The next big thing for me to be on track for the delivery plan I wanted was my GBS, which is not gestational diabetes, group B strep. So that was a test that I had to have done. I will get to that in a minute. I'm trying to kind of go in order of when I had stuff done. So that was at, I believe, my 28-week appointment when I had my gestational diabetes glucose screening test. At the same appointment, I did get my RhoGAM shot. And so something I found out when I was 7.5 weeks pregnant, if you have seen my other recap videos, I ended up in the hospital while we were at Disney over Thanksgiving. and they let me know that I was Rh negative for my blood type, and they gave me the RhoGAM shot. Well, I was surprised at my 28-week appointment when I was getting the RhoGAM shot, and the nurse held off and asked my doctor about it. My doctor was like, they never should have given you that at 7.5 weeks pregnant because that shot only lasts for 12 weeks. So they gave it to me at 28 weeks pregnant, and if I wait until 40 weeks to deliver, I have a little card that shows that I'm Rh negative when I got my last RhoGAM shot, and when I go to labor and delivery, if I deliver 40 weeks or later, they will give me another RhoGAM shot because it will have like expired and no longer work for what it needs to. So I may have to get a third RhoGAM shot, but in the future, I will not be letting anyone tell me that I need to get a RhoGAM shot at 7.5 weeks pregnant because that was just not true. The next thing is growth scans and BPPs, which is a biophysical profile. So I've had 2 or 3 growth scans in the 3rd trimester. 3 actually, because 2 of them she was measuring in the 11th percentile, and so they decided to continue monitoring her growth just because if she was to drop below the 10th percentile, then that is considered growth restricted and they would need to do extra monitoring, possibly deliver her early and all of that, which... So we just had faith that everything was going to work out and that she was just a small little girl and she wasn't going to become growth restricted. The last time they did my growth scan when she was in the 11th percentile still, my AFI, which is my fluid score, was a little bit high. It was 17.9, and my doctor's office likes to see it around 16, although I have since learned that anything 25 or below is actually fine. Until you get down to like too low of AFI, and I'm not sure what that is because I haven't had that issue and my doctor hasn't mentioned what is too low. But so I was at 17.9, so the nurse practitioner, who I didn't exactly care for, decided to do another growth scan, which I knew I was going to have to do anyways, and to do a BPP. And so when I came back and did the biophysical profile, they said you want her to score an 8 out of 8. She scored an 8 out of 8. She was still in the 11th percentile at that time, but my fluid had actually come down and was in the 16 point something. I think it was like 16.4 or something like that. It had come down, and I think it has to do with how much water I drink the day of the appointment before the appointment. Because I kind of played around with this. First appointment, I had drank like 3 or 4 bottles of water. I had high AFI. Second appointment, I didn't drink anything for like 4 hours other than maybe a sip or 2 before the appointment. AFI was normal for what my office likes to see. And now the last growth scan and biophysical profile I had done at my last appointment last week, my fluid was actually 21 point something, and I was telling my doctor about like my water intake and stuff like that, and she said baby is just like peeing a lot in there, and that's what's causing that fluid, and it's probably from how much fluids I am taking in. So she wasn't concerned about it at all. And baby moved up to the 45th percentile. So with that being said, that means no more growth scans for my pregnancy. She was measuring at around 6.4 pounds. They estimate her to be around 7.5 pounds if she goes to full 40 weeks. So there are no concerns right there. There's no... If I could talk, there are no concerns right there with my doctor. So now I should just have kind of normal appointments. I also got my Group B strep test done, which I thought was going to be a lot worse than it was. That swab was nothing. So if any of you ladies are getting ready to have that done and you're a little nervous, don't be, because I was like very, very nervous, and it was a breeze, and I came back negative on that as well. So for somebody who wants no IVs and no needles during labor, that was amazing for me, because if you are Group B strep positive, then you would have to have an antibiotic IV for at least 4 hours during labor. And that would also mean I would have to go in and be admitted to the hospital in early labor versus being able to labor at home. But since I am negative, I can labor at home and not have any IVs unless something changes to where I had to have an epidural or an emergency C-section or something along those lines, but we are sticking with a positive mindset that that is not going to happen. Okay, and so the next couple things is meeting my doula. I hired my doula a little late in the game for me because I had a hard time finding one that was within our budget and that was also very animal friendly with how many animals we have in our house. So I found my doula about halfway through my second trimester, I believe it was. I had an appointment with her at the very end of my second trimester and then another appointment at the beginning of my third trimester. She is amazing. I feel like she's going to be a real help to me and my husband, especially with helping him know like what he can do to try and help me and comfort me while I'm in pain and going through labor. Our plan with her is when I go into labor, she goes on call at 38 weeks. So I just have to make it to this Friday and she'll be on call. So once I'm at 38 weeks, when I go into labor, I'll contact her and she'll kind of like help me assess like, okay, you're talking through these contractions, you're just in early labor. Once I get to active labor, she will come to the house and join us and help us with some pain techniques of maybe, you know, Corey and I need to hop in the shower and I need to let the hot water run in my back, on my back. Things like that, with the birthing ball, which I do have downstairs. Just different techniques. She'll try distracting me, all of that fun stuff. We have some ways to include the dogs in my labor. And then she will also help me gauge when, like, I'm to the point of, okay, I'm, you know, probably 5 minutes apart in contractions for a minute a piece. You know, they're lasting a minute long. It's been going on for an hour. It's probably a good time to go to the hospital since we live 45 minutes away from there. So she'll just kind of help gauge us because Corey's terrified that we're not going to make it to the hospital. Both my doula and myself are under the thoughts of, this is my first baby. There is no way I'm going to be further along when I get there than I need to be because odds of me making it that long without thinking that I'm further along and wanting to go to the hospital is slim, but she'll help us gauge all of that. She's super sweet and I love having her involved in my care team, so that will be wonderful. She also has a little bit of experience with helping like with latching for breastfeeding right after delivery. She does like a postpartum visit and everything, so I'm really appreciative for that. Another thing is I met with a lactation consultant. My friend actually suggested that I meet with one and turned out my insurance pays for me to have a lactation consultant, which is amazing. So I met with my lactation consultant. We had about a 2.5 hour meeting. She gave me a lot of useful information, and then I will follow up with her after baby girl is here if I feel like I need a little bit of help adjusting or if I feel like something's not right with breastfeeding. So that is a great resource to have, and I'm so thankful for that. Then I did my maternity photos, and so if you haven't already, I will link that video up here as well. The maternity photo session was absolutely amazing. I feel like they're the best photos of my husband and I that we've ever had, and of course with my little dog Heidi, who is the big sister to our little girl, and I think that's one of the things I'm the most excited about is bringing Randy Kate home and Heidi Nan meeting her, because Heidi loves babies and kids so much. She's going to be a great big sister to our little girl, but I won't talk too much about those because I do have them a video done, so like I said, I'll link that. And then the next thing is I had my baby shower. If you missed that video, I will also link it. There's gonna be a ton of links in this video, but I'll link that one up here as well. I didn't film my actual baby shower because my sister was in town. She flew in from Texas where she lives and was only here from the night before my shower until the morning after. So I really was focused on spending a lot of time with her and just enjoying the shower that she was throwing for me and just being very in the moment for that. So I am super appreciative to her. Thank you so much. I know she'll be watching this video. Can't wait to see you once baby girl gets here and we have a little more time together. But she did such an amazing job, and I just didn't want to take away from enjoying the shower to try to film. But I do have a video of everything that I got from my shower and talking about my shower and all that fun stuff. And so this is kind of all there is for my third trimester recap. My hospital bag, as you've seen in a past video, is packed. We have both of the car seats are installed. Little update from our baby prep video. The car seat that we got for Corey's car was a convertible car seat my grandparents bought for us, and it has to be leveled as long as baby can't hold their head up on their own. Well, how Corey's seats in his Tundra are on an incline, you can't get them level. There's no so the car seat base that's in my car, that's for the travel system that snaps in and out, there's a leveling system on there where you just pop out this little thing and it levels it. Well, his truck, with the seats being unlevel already, this car seat didn't have that. And so we couldn't get it level, so we decided not to use that car seat for now and just bought a second base that goes on to the same car seat that I have from my car, because she can only be in one car seat at a time anyways. So we put that base in actually today, and it took us less than 10 minutes. And that car seat can just be popped in and out of either his truck or my car. Now, once she can hold her head up on her own, you no longer have to level the convertible car seat. So at that point, we'll probably just continue using this one until she outgrows it. It's good until she's 35 pounds, but once she does, then we'll put that convertible car seat in either his truck or my car and then buy a second one for the other one. So it's something we won't be wasting because it was a very expensive car seat that my grandparents gifted us with, but it's something that we just can't use right now. So we boxed it back up, sealed it up good so no bugs can get in the box or anything, and we'll use that down the road. But now, with that being said, that is everything for my third trimester recap video. I am so thankful for all of you. I can't believe that some of my videos have actually been getting, I know it's very small scale compared to so many other YouTubers, but my baby girl's clothing haul has gotten over 1,000 views, and it about made me cry because I truly just love doing this and love sharing my life and just documenting my life to show my daughter and my other kids in the future. It's just absolutely a joy for me. And so thank you all so much, everyone who is watching this video, whether you are watching this for the first time or you are a returning viewer. Thank you so much. If you aren't a subscriber, I would love if you would like this video. Leave me a comment down below so that I can connect with you. And of course, subscribe to my channel. I love having you as part of my YouTube family. This is just something amazing that is such a creative outlet for me, and I love doing it. I can't wait to introduce baby girl to you all. And on that note, I am gonna hop off here so that we can go celebrate Father's Day. Again, I am so thankful for all of your support, for all of you watching, and I can't wait to share another video with you very soon. Take care, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.